Savings goals keeping you up at night? Let a Regions banker help you build a Regions Green Print plan, a free financial roadmap personalized for what matters to you. Start building your financial confidence. Visit Regions.com to find a branch near you. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia, it's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank. Start building your financial confidence at Regions Bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing member.
And greetings and salutations, everybody. It is your slightly annoying host, Stephen Julian. Welcome to another, hopefully one day soon, award-winning edition of Gwinnett Business Radio, broadcasting live on BusinessRadioX.com and broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studios inside the beautiful, stupendous, unparalleled Gas South District Convention Center. With me, to my right.
Could you say groovy also?
Sure,
remember
groovy.
When Greg and Marcia had a groovy conversation
I thought
back in the Brady Bunch?
Maybe.
Did you
going to
watch the Brady Bunch when you were a kid?
I did. I watch reruns on TBS. They were just new reruns on TBS every afternoon, 3 o'clock, I think, 3:05 on TBS.
Wow, be more specific.
Are you going to sing Change? You know, when was it Peter was going through changes? Change! Yes.
Yeah, the change.
My voice is sure doing goofy things lately.
Hey, the group was beginning to sound really good in there.
Yeah, right on. Thanks. What?
Peter, I don't know how to tell you this, but well, I'm afraid your voice is changing.
We gotta record my song Friday. I gave Mr. Dimsdale 150 non-returnable dollars.
Don't worry, Greg. By Friday, my voice is gonna be just swell.
All right. Hey, listen, people do not...
What's more important than Peter right now? We're going to talk
there
about
is
our guests.
Way more important stuff than Peter and the song Changes, which Dan will put in at the end of the show. He'll find it and see if we can add it to the end of the show. By the way, we both missed on the bet. I thought for sure with Mike being out of town.
Has anyone won the bet yet?
No. Since we've started it, we've lost. Dan is doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. It's building, and
next week it'll be $425.
I heard somebody hit 5 numbers on the lottery. They win $2 million.
Nice.
You didn't get the Powerball, but you'd be okay with $2 million.
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that.
Some people say, I don't know if that would be enough, if that could really put me where I need to be.
Somewhere in Paris, Mike Salmond is screaming at his laptop, get on with the show. So I just hear him in my headphones. So we are thrilled to welcome 2 guests today. And they kind of are doing something together, but we're also going to talk to them separately. So let me just set this up. Shiloh Bigles is here from Level Mind CBD. Michelle Bertrand is here from Poetic Fitness. And they both are involved in a really cool event happening on August 10th of 2024. So that is going to be something we definitely want to talk about, but we really want to talk about both of their businesses. So Shiloh, we're going to start with you, Shiloh Bigles from Level Minds CBD. Welcome to the studio.
Hi guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here. So Level Minds CBD. CBD is something everybody's heard about, but tell everybody specifically about what Level Minds does.
So we started our company in 2015. We started because we couldn't find anything that was on the market that didn't have that everything we saw had either additives, colors, artificial flavors, really nasty oil it was mixed in, and really low dose. So we're like, well, we don't really want to consume any of this, so let's go ahead and start manufacturing and making something that we approve of, that we would give our family, our kids, consume ourselves. And that's how it all started in 2015. So now we have a store right around the corner in Swanee, Georgia, so you can stop in and see us. You can say hello to myself, Mo, or Michelle. My husband Nelson is in and out all the time too, so you can definitely communicate with him. But with CBD, it's a passion of ours to help people actually heal from the inside out. And there's so many things that this plant can do.
So and I want to kind of focus on your answer there of when it comes to the CBD market as a whole. There's a lot of other stuff that maybe isn't as effective and good. Without throwing anybody else under the bus, can you kind of break down a little bit? Because it sounds like it's a big part of the inspiration of why you guys started this. All CBD is not the same.
That's correct.
Break that down for me a little bit.
A lot of people still have on the market things that are really low strength that people will come into my shop and they'll say, I don't feel anything. And I'm like, well, that's because you're not using enough. Then to that point too, I have people who come in and they're like, I'm using, 150 milligrams. And I'm like, your body is only using about 50 milligrams of that. So there's definitely, it goes both ways. But for us, the ingredients are super important. We still see food coloring in so many things, especially red and blue. They're such agitators to neurological disorders like ADHD, autism, things like that. And you don't need it. It's an additive for a reason. You don't have to add it. So artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, same thing. So we just try to stick to the basics and really minimal ingredients. But for us too, we put a cannabinoid called CBG, cannabidiol, in all of our products. It's really important for us to activate both of our receptors in our ECS system. So that way you can get the full benefit of the plant, not just a little serotonin increase and a little bit of relaxation. No, we're talking anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, neuroprotectant, all of them at once. So it's really good to have that. And that's in every one of our products, including the topical I brought for you guys.
Okay, Shiloh, you threw a lot of acronyms at us right there.
Sorry.
The ERS and CBD. Break a few of these things down for me, because here's one of the, I'm not going to say it's an issue, but I would imagine that a restraint that some people have is, well, you're not a doctor. But I don't need to be a doctor, or at least have a certificate on the wall, in order for me to do my research,
Yes.
to read, and to find out, quote unquote, how the science works, and to be able to help be a benefit. If I know that massage is really good, I don't have to be a certified masseuse
Exactly.
in order to tell my wife, I'll rub your shoulders out and you'll feel better.
Exactly.
So explain a little bit of that process and what it was like for you specifically. You said your husband's Nelson. Does he also have the same type of a background and that passion together to learn a little bit more about how people can be healed or how they can feel better without going to different other medications?
Exactly. And we've been in the health industry for a long time. I was a former personal trainer, nutritionist, and then we went to a weight loss and pain therapy center. So we've been all about actually helping people, again, heal and live their best lives. And then for me, I actually just graduated as a functional nutrition counselor. So helping you to
So you do have a certificate, don't you, and a piece of paper. Good for you.
heal your body with all forms of food and herbs, and this is that form.
Yeah.
So one of the acronyms I used was the ECS system. That's our endocannabinoid system. Every mammal on the
Endocannabinoid.
system.
That
Yep.
sounds like like a Pac-Man thing.
Yes,
So
yeah.
tell me how that works.
So every mammal on the planet has two parts to that. We have our CB1 receptor and our CB2 receptor. They're right at the base of our brainstem and the top of our spinal cord. Every mammal, all of our pets, our thoroughbred horses, everybody. So what that does is EC1 helps to control our nervous system and EC2 our immune system. When those two are balanced properly, they help our body go into homeostasis. Homeostasis is level, hence level minds.
There you go.
But it
How
helps.
about that, Stephen? She just did a segue.
She broke it down before you even asked.
I didn't even ask how you came up with the name.
She knows.
That was it.
She knows we're
That
at
was it.
square one
So
or
our
square minus
CB3
5.
is she figured stuff out before I even would ask it.
Sorry,
That's a
we
different.
interrupted.
That's a different level.
But that's important to us. So when we're in homeostasis, any mammal, our body functions properly. It's where we're supposed to be, where we're meant to be. So our
Is that
heart,
were the
our
hippies got the
liver-
word copacetic? Do you remember people saying
Probably.
copacetic?
And I'm going to throw a reference back to you. So you were talking about the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
So this is totally going off. So you were talking about the Brady Bunch. I told you a little bit about me. I'm from a big family. I grew up a missionary kid, but I am 7 of 12. So we had our own little Brady Bunch. We have 6 boys and 6 girls. So I think the Brady Bunch was like split evenly
It was
too,
3-3.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like,
And
Did
the
you
one
ever-
day
wait,
when this
wait.
lady met the fella,
No.
Yeah,
Did you ever take a picture going
on the
up and down
staircase.
the staircase?
No, we couldn't fit on the stairs. Stairs are like 13 steps, so the full family couldn't fit. We're 12 of us.
Well, the 2 could be at the top. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah,
Good
that was
stuff.
just throwing out
Brady
for your
Bunch
Brady
reference.
Bunch.
I like it.
So my dad met my mom and he said, I want a baseball team. And apparently he found somebody who will give him a baseball team.
forget
So.
including a bullpen as well.
Exactly.
Holy cow.
I can only imagine what Thanksgiving outdoor before dinner, before going outside and just having a
Oh, we're always
a
outside.
battle royale,
yeah.
right? So is wrestling. They had a
Exactly.
baseball, wrestling. Okay, I've got and Brady Bunch. I like the references so far.
It's
So-
Olympic in the way that we come up with all these sports.
Oh, nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
We won't
Exactly.
have another reference like this for another 4 years. All right.
But anyway, so all of these different nerves and everything, in order for them to be working right, they need to be put into place. If they're out of position, and sometimes the food coloring, like you mentioned, and other things. There are toxins that we take in every day in our food or how we breathe.
That'll throw off our balance.
So tell me how that works to where you say, I've got something that will help balance everything out for the folks.
So that's one of the cannabinoids that I was talking about was CBG. So CBG can activate both those receptors and help
what
us.
does CBG stand for?
Cannabidiol.
Cannabidiol.
And
Are you taking notes?
I need to, because a lot of this
Our listeners are.
It's not necessarily new to me, but I haven't done the research.
Yeah.
So that's
and
what Shiloh
anyone
is doing for
can,
me.
like you said, which I love, because at the beginning everyone's like, how do you know this? And I'm like, it's so much research, and people coming to me personally, because of course when we open the store, it's my husband and I, we're in there all the time. So just finding out, okay, I need this. Will it mix with this medication? Will it do this? Will it do that? And even for us too, finding out what products we need to make. So we have a family and professional line, which is THC free. So this is for all of our active service members, military, our first responders. This is people who have to be drug tested, even bus drivers, things like that. So people are coming and they're like, okay, I need sleep, but I can't take THC. I can't smoke to go to sleep. What can you do?
And I don't want to take an over-the-counter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right?
Oh
Okay.
no, we have had so many people come off of Ambien. It's amazing. Even people using melatonin. I'm like, don't really need that, but but for us, it's just finding out what the population needs, and then saying we don't have it yet, but we'll make it. So we'll discover it. We'll figure out what we need to do and which molecules we need to use that are not going to activate a drug test. So we do have a family and professional line, and then we have a 21 plus line, which has a little bit more of a recreational feel, some light, some heavier. So it's totally up to you how you want to feel. But CBG is one of those molecules that's considered the mother of all molecules. And because it activates both those receptors, you have anti-inflammatory properties, neuroprotective properties. It's been studied by the NFL to help repair neuron damage after TBIs. That's concussions, traumatic brain injuries. So it's such a benefit. It also helps with anxiety. It's been studied in autism anxiety. We've had people take that, which is our focus line, and compare that to like Adderall or Ritalin. So we've had people come off of Adderall and Ritalin because it feels the same. You're just mentally focused, no head high at all, no psychoactive part whatsoever, just balance and focus.
So I think one important question, because I love where you're going with this, and I love that, because I think some people will hear the start of this interview and go CBD, well, I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in that. That's something I can't do. So the business professional, there's a way to, you would not fail a drug test. So we're not going down that path at all.
Correct.
Although there are now some parts of that path that in some states or most states it's legal. That's always changing depending on when people listen to this. But I think what I would like to ask, and this will be as close as I get to being 60 Minutes-ish, which is now such a dated reference. I apologize. But
it's okay. I used to watch it.
Yeah. So I think the question is, you're talking about potentially getting off other drugs that have been, some people would think, overprescribed. Would you said, these receptors are in every mammal. Is it kind of a case-by-case basis? Results vary depending on the subject. You're trying to work with, you've seen lots of evidence that this will help. To what degree it helps depends on your makeup and who you are. Is that fair to say? Is it a relationship with the client to go, we're going to try to work with you to find the right mixture? Talk about that a little bit.
Yes and no. So I think the biggest thing is finding which product works. So we have oils, which are processed by our liver. They activate a little bit faster, but also wear off faster. Everyone can have liver damage. You could have fatty liver where it's not absorbing properly, or you could have been on a bunch of prescription medications or chemo or radiation, or you could have drank a lot back in the day. So all of these things can affect our liver. Then we have all of our edible line, our gummies, which are processed by our stomach. They take longer to activate, so it's a little bit more with patience. But once it's there for hours. So it's like a time-release capsule. Typically, the stomach is a better absorption for people, but at the same time, so it really depends on the person and how they're going to be absorbing it. But for the most part, I can truly say there hasn't been someone that we haven't been able to find something that works. And don't get me wrong, it's not a magic pill. There is no magic pill. I know this. Everyone who comes in, and it's hard to say that because we have people who are like truly, truly struggling. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, and as Michelle or anyone who's been in my store can attest to, we're always recommending something else too. Something as simple as magnesium foot soaks, Epsom salt foot soaks to help you relax, help with your pain, all of this stuff, help you sleep too. diet is so important. And we're not talking about diets themselves. We're talking about just eating anti-inflammatory foods, cutting out things that you don't need, those additives, things like that. And then guess what? It'll only make CBD, hemp, cannabis all work better because now your body is not fighting these things that you're putting in there. It's not being blocked.
It's not a magic pill, but it's an all-natural pill, and
Yes.
it certainly can, or
100%.
all-natural, however you decide to take it. So we're speaking with Shiloh Bigles. She is the owner of Level Mind CBD. She also has a connection with our other guest, Michelle Bertrand, who is with Poetic Fitness and also is a manager of the store. So I want to kind of bring in potentially, Michelle, you a little bit to this conversation because you both are going to be part of something very important happening on August 10th. So Shiloh, let me ask you first, tell us about the Level Mind CBD Wellness Fair on August 10th.
So the wellness fair was really important to us to bring together a bunch of different people in our wellness industry, a bunch of different business owners. They actually all happen to be female business owners. So it just happened by chance. They're fantastic, though.
Yeah, right.
They're all amazing.
Sure.
So we have
men are invited to the event.
Yes, of course,
all right,
of
all right.
course.
What was the Snoop? You watched Snoop. You remember No Dogs Allowed?
Yeah, no dogs
no guys allowed.
Yeah, we're definitely men and pet friendly. Both are allowed in the store.
Very good.
So it's just a fantastic event throughout the afternoon. Stop in and out to come in anytime. It's 11 to 5. We'll all be doing little segments. We have samples and snacks all throughout the day. We have different talks and things going on. Michelle's going to start the day off actually with a little low impact workout talking about health and fitness. And then we
Steven's
have
out already. I'm not going to work out first thing in the morning.
He'll
I
be
want a
here.
cup of coffee
That's exercise
first.
shaming. How dare you?
You want your cup of coffee
I've
first.
already had my cup of coffee by
And now
11.
you're ready. You have to
Now
have a
I'm
cup of
ready.
coffee first.
Okay.
She didn't
So
say
is
she
it
was
at the
gonna give you
store?
free
Is it
Yes,
coffee.
it is at the store, which
Okay.
is 3550 Lawrenceville Swanee Road, and we're Suite 108 in Swanee. We're like 2 blocks from the town center. You can't miss us.
All right. Now, I want to, Michelle, we are going to talk more about your overall business after the break. But for now, August 10th, talk about this low impact workout.
Absolutely. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great workout. It is going to be low impact, but it's going to be low impact and something to get you moving and sweating, and just a great way to start your Saturday, because I always recommend that in the morning you do something to get moving, get the body moving, to start your day. So that's what I'll be out there doing Saturday morning, August 10th.
All right. So you kick off the event. So it's up to you to set the tone at 11 o'clock. And then after everybody's, sweating at various levels, they then go to other things, and there will be samples.
We're gonna
potentially.
We could definitely talk about that, and probably just some of our CBD drinks. We'll be popping some of those. We also have our Nora with Living Well Farmers Market, which is in Swanee also. So she'll be bringing like breads and juices, things like that, stuff to sample and snack. We also have a private chef. She's amazing, Chef Riani. She's going to be doing some samples or showing you little recipes to make with our products. She uses our Focus every day, so it's something that she can add into food just to show you how to be able to add it into your diet throughout the day.
She's really important if her name is Chef Rihanna.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She comes with.
She has a certificate too.
She's better than everybody else. When you give her a spatula and a sharp knife, she's
better than the average person without a chef certificate.
Yeah. She's also a friend of Gwinnett Business Radio.
I think you guys.
So you better be nice to her.
Her first name is Chef.
Yes,
I know that.
we've talked to her already.
My question, and this is kind of a follow-up. Most people come in to see you because they don't feel good.
Correct.
Help me feel better, but you're not a doctor. But you're working on knowing as much as any doctor would.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how the science changes. Well, before I do that, let me ask about what if it's discreet? Somebody says, I really need to talk to you about something, and I've got an issue, and is there an ability to do that as well, where you kind of go off to the side, and now you get to play mom, doctor,
Therapist.
friend, therapist, and person that's going to say, I think I can help you in this manner, right? Yes. Is that, generally speaking, is that how it works?
100%. Michelle could attest to, and at some point she'll be able to tell you, there are many times that people will sit on my couch and they'll be in there 2-3 hours talking, crying, getting very emotional. And it's not always women, it's men too. And yes, there are discreet things. We have people come in and talk about, things in the bedroom. Can CBD help with stress? Can it help with this? Can it help with that? So we get every question under the sun. And
do you have extra Kleenex for when Mike Salmon's going to come in and he's going to share his stuff with you? Because Mike is a crybaby.
That's
that.
Okay. So am
I can neither confirm nor deny that report.
Which is all you need to say. I take the fifth is what you're telling me?
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, the science continually changes. There was a time where everyone says the world is flat and you can't say otherwise, even though you look up in the sun and the moon and you say those are round, so we should be round too.
Yeah.
But the changes over the years since you started in 2015 have been somewhat significant in that we're finding out more. Is that
exactly
the benefits are increasing, or at least the way that we can explain how there are things that if you do this, it'll help take care of that.
Yes, exactly. And we have the cannabis marijuana plant to thank for that, being that has been legalized in so many different states where we've been able to actually research it, I believe, going on 20 years. So California, Colorado, things like that. So when those states make our cousin of cannabis legal, then there can be so much more research. And really, these are such similar plants. It's just hemp produces less THC. THC is the psychoactive component and more of the other cannabinoids. But they're brother plants. I don't even like to call them cousins. So because of that research,
they're part of the Brady Bunch. They're
Exactly.
Hey, those parents might have been using. Yeah. So they were really happy. They were hippies. They had 6 kids. I mean, they had to have been doing something to keep happy. So.
Oh man! So. All right. Just to clarify, they each had 3 from their first marriage, and then they came together. But sorry. TV culture. That's my area of expertise. All right, so I think we've come to a great stopping point here, Shiloh. So I want you to encourage everybody. How do they get in touch with you? Give the location again, and how can people find out more about your company?
Anyone can reach out. It's Level Minds with an S, CBD.com. And the store, again, is 3550 Lawrenceville Swanee Road. We're Suite 108 in Swanee, Georgia. We're right across the street from Zaxby's, so can't miss us. Come stop in anytime. We're open Monday through Saturday. And online, our handle for all of our social media is just Level Minds CBD.
Yep.
So you can reach out to us anytime. You can call. We take in phone orders. We ship all over the U.S. So if you're not listening locally, which I'm sure you have out-of-state listeners,
we do.
So we can ship all over.
Nice.
Is there a place in the website that did you mention a website? You said the
Level Minds CBD. You need to listen.
.com or
yes.
.com.
Okay.
.com.
And with that being said, is there a research and a place for you, someone that doesn't know very much to kind of get caught up?
Yes.
As well as another person says, I know exactly what I want and this is what I need.
Yes. And we are looking to change our platform for our website and go back to WooCommerce to where we can have a little bit more education on there, right? Right now we're with Square, and we just have some limitation on some of the wording and verbiage we can use, even though it's all medical research. I'm not using my words. I'm using medical links, but it's just their restrictions. So just based on
you can't say
national policy. I said I didn't say it. These guys said it, and they're like, nope, you can't say it. So we're going to change the website just so we can have a little bit more education for people. But our social media is fantastic for that. I do Shiloh Talks all the time where we're talking about CBD and specific molecules and teaching you a little bit more about that. So our social media is great for learning.
I wonder who hosts that, Stephen, the Shiloh Talks. Who would host that?
Shiloh Bigles of Level Minds CBD. Shiloh, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Well, we love hearing things that teach us new ideas and concepts and the way people are running their business.
Yes.
And Subaru loves things like that as well. Hey, if you're at 2950 Satellite Boulevard, you're at their location. They're 2 blocks north of the Gwinnett Place Mall. 2950 Satellite Boulevard. Or you can call at 470-824-3860 to look at the Impreza, the Legacy, the Forester, the Outback, which is what Subaru was basically based on, and what great cars they have. If you have a business, you can either buy to own or to lease. New, previously owned vehicles are available at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Join their family today. You can come on in and see the difference, or you can call, you can go online, or you can even visit through Carrier Pigeon. They just bring some birdseed, and you can get a better deal on a vehicle.
I like that.
Subaru of Gwinnett.
Can I, as I'm driving by, can I slingshot a small plastic ball with my message
they're
inside
working
it?
on Morse code and breaking that down again,
that.
but they're open to any form of communication in terms of helping you get your new vehicle.
I am so thrilled and honored to welcome maybe one of the most patient guests in the history of Gwinnett Business Radio. Michelle Bertrand is here. She is the owner of Poetic Fitness. She waited patiently. She is involved, certainly, with the August 10th event. You are also a manager at the Level Mind CBD store.
I am.
But you are here today to really talk about the business you own, which is Poetic Fitness.
Yes, I am.
So tell everybody about Poetic Fitness and what you do.
Okay, Poetic Fitness. I am a wellness coach with an emphasis on really starting the basics, starting at the foundation. Poetic Fitness was born out of my own personal journey, back to fitness, back to being healthy. I took a job that had me working a lot of hours, and I really stopped taking care of myself, stopped exercising, was working 80 hours a week and not really focusing on just the day-to-day routines to take care of myself. And that led me down a really dark road. I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And I had to make a life change. I made a life change back during COVID. That's when I had a realization that everything really, I needed to focus more on myself. And at that time, all the gyms were shut down. All the gyms were shut down. And I'm like, why? Like, I'm ready now. Why are the gyms shut down? And I sat for a minute and I'm like, you know what? I just heard God say, get up and start walking. That's something that's free. That's something that nothing has to be open. Just start walking. And that's where I started. That's where the transformation for me started. So when I developed Poetic Fitness, when I work with my clients, it's about going back to the basics, because a lot of us are overthinking it. A lot of us are putting our bodies in situations that our bodies are not ready to handle. Our, intention is good. We want to get out there. We want to do a CrossFit. We want to get out there. We want to start all of that. And
I'm going to run a marathon.
And then you wound up hurt, or, you really overzealous. And then I kind of get my people to dial it back. Okay, if you're not going to the gym on a regular basis, I'm like, where do you want to start? Let's start by walking. Let's at least get a good routine before you start paying gym memberships. And let's see what you can do on your own, and let's see what you can commit to that's free.
And the name is Poetic.
The name is Poetic.
Fitness. I have a feeling there's a little story behind Poetic. Talk about that.
Yes. So with me going back to the basics, I also had to realize that outside of the gym, outside of my physical body, I had no outlet to de-stress. I had no outlet to relax. I had forgotten how to de-stress and relax. And in putting the basics back together for myself and the foundation, I made sure that I created a position of no screen time, where I can disconnect from everything electronic and then allow my brain to relax and create on its own. And that's where I went back to poetry. I went back to writing. So outside of working out, I encourage my clients and the people that I work with to find an activity that's outside of all of your devices, that's outside of, something that you can do to just let your mind relax and create. And that's where the poetry, I wanted to connect my love of poetry and my love of fitness. So the fitness takes care of my body and the poetry takes care of my mind.
I love that. So before we go any farther, I do want to take a moment and just let you kind of pitch the audience, as it were. So, because we're understanding the depth of this, we're understanding the passion, where it comes from. give us a picture if someone were to reach out to you, because one of the things you said kind of makes me go, ooh, I got to ask this question, because if you're going to start with a potential client of, look, just walk, you're starting at something that's free that they honestly, technically they could do without you,
Right.
other than your inspiration or smart, hey, just start with this. So how does someone engage with you? What does that look like if someone were to reach out to you and say, I want your help, or I'm looking for a trainer? What would that look like? How does that start? Just kind of give us the first steps.
Well, the first steps, once somebody reaches out to me and they connect with me, when I set my first appointment with them, I actually say, hey, how about if we go for a walk? And we actually start their very first appointment with just a walk and a talk. And as we're walking, I'm learning about their day-to-day life. I'm learning about what their daily habits are like, what their home life is like. Because fitness is not just the gym, it's everything. Wellness is everything. Wellness is your daily habits. How you interact with your job, with your family, with your friends, all of that encompasses fitness and wellness. Because if you're too overwhelmed in every other area of your life, it's really hard to have a solid foundation within your fitness life.
So impressed, really am. What you just said is brilliant in that I am going to take you on a walk. We're going to start working on your healing, or at least getting your goals set before we even have a conversation. As I'm learning about you, we're already accomplishing the first step.
Yes.
Because isn't that the first step of anything? Yeah, you can talk about it all you want. You got to actually get your feet on the ground.
Absolutely.
You got to move, right? You got to move.
Absolutely, because one of the conversations that I have during our first walk is I try to help them figure out why they haven't been taking care of themselves up until this point.
Yeah. Or what happened
where you
stopped.
stopped.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, what did you do in high school? Were you athletic?
I was.
What'd you do?
Was. In high school, I ran track. I started running track.
Sprinter? Were you a sprinter or longer distances?
I did like the 100, 200 races. I didn't do super long races. My longest race was the 400.
Yeah.
That was the longest. Like I said, I started probably in second grade with the Colgate Games in New York City. That's where I started with that, and I kept up. I was a cheerleader. I did so many things. I played softball in high school. I was really in it. So when I had my first child young and kind of got out of it, but after I had him, I'm like, hey, I can move. I know how to exercise. I've, been on teams. So just start moving. And this all comes back around again. Because like I said, when I got out of it a couple of years ago and wasn't taking my care of myself, when I had that epiphany that everything needed to change, it seemed so overwhelming. And I noticed for a lot of my clients, when you're ready for a life change, when you're ready to change your body, it can feel so overwhelming and like such an incredible task. But by me remembering, you know what? Everybody can walk. That's something that and I was like, you know what? Let me just start there. COVID helped out. I'm not going to lie, because everything was shut down. So that helped out in that aspect, but I just kept that going because when I did it, I was 50 plus. I was 51 when I had to get my life back in order, physically and mentally. And because it was so much and the mountain seemed so high, I just like, you know what? Let me just start small and put one foot in front of the other. And just don't stop putting that foot in front of the other.
That's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, another show. One foot in the other. I remember the Heat Miser.
Why, look here. Changing from bad to good's as easy as taking your first step. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door.
One.
All right, who had Rudolph on their
I love
cultural
that song.
Michelle, without sounding like I am being, gender insensitive or anything like that.
That's impossible.
Most men cannot chew gum and walk at the same time. They can't multitask, but they'll take care of that one task.
Right.
And then they move on to the next.
Right.
Most women, in my opinion, are like a computer screen. Down at the bottom, there are multi-windows that are open. There's one here that says, I got to go to work. And then the other says, well, who's going to do the laundry? And the other one says, gosh, I got to make sure the trash gets taken out. And then the next one says, I got to take care of the kids. And there's multi-screens. And at one point or another, they forget to take care of them, don't they?
Yes.
Because everything else takes priority. So you help them to because you said yourself, you were in great shape. You didn't even have to think about it.
Right.
Because you went from one practice to the other in high school. You didn't even know how good a shape you were in because you were doing something all the time.
Right.
And then your quest to get back to that, I used to be able to do that. Now I want to play catch with my son. I can because I used to play softball, but I'm not in any shape to do that. Gosh, I hurt. I'm sore. And I'm tired. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about other women that may need the same type of little push or prodding and say, you have the ability to do that because I've been there. I know what it's like to be 50 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
But let's get to where we're 40 and then 30 and 20, one step at a time, right?
Yeah. And I have a model that I use with my clients and myself now all the time. It's start small, finish big. Start small. You do not have to conquer everything at one time. And I've learned this in this journey back. When it comes to wellness, multitasking is not a thing. Do not multitask your wellness. Yeah. Focus.
And if the goal is too hard to reach, you're going to quit, aren't you?
Exactly.
So, like I said, I tell people all the time, lose your first 5 pounds and then we'll talk.
Right.
Right? And you're out there on a track or walking around a neighborhood with somebody when you first meet them.
Yeah. And I started off, as a matter of fact, one of my favorite races here in Atlanta is the hot chocolate. And a couple of years ago, when I was on this health journey, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on walking a 5K. I haven't done it in God knows how many years. I'm just going to focus on that. And I remember in August, I signed up for the hot chocolate, which is usually the first month after the new year, like January, February. And I was like, okay. And I went to the park every other day, just walking.
The park where they had the event?
No, just local,
yeah.
Local park, because I had signed up for the race. And I'm like, you know what? In preparation, I'm just going to walk 3 days a week. And I started there and I just kept going. It's all about having small goals, nothing too crazy that if you don't reach it, now you're in this depressive mode. Oh, I didn't do that. I can't. Start small.
But you can change it.
Yes, you can change it anytime you want to.
I met the goal and now I want to set another one. Now I'm going to jog the park. And
It's
next thing
so
I'm going to pick up
important.
my feet or I'm going to get a new pair of shoes and I'm going to start jogging and running. And next thing you know, you're going to be at the end of the finish line.
And with Poetic Fitness, I also emphasize the other part of it. Just like you're teaching your body how to work, you need to teach your body how to rest. You have to learn that your body and mind can rest together without you being asleep. And that's one of the things that when I'm writing, when I'm doing poetry, I'm allowing my body and mind to work together at a slower pace that's relaxing, where my brain can kind of calm down.
We're speaking with Michelle Bertrand. She is the owner of Poetic Fitness. I do want to clarify one thing, and I am saying this for comedic purposes only. The job that caused you where you were working 80 hours a week, and that was not when you were a manager at Level Mind CBD. I do want to just clarify that and make sure.
That was not.
Exactly. Okay. Just want to make sure because you are one of the managers at Level Mind CBD. So I just, in case anyone else was thinking that.
She only works about 75 hours a week.
Right. At Level Minds. They've cut me down to 79. I'm so happy. No, so I do want to ask this though. And it's funny, the more, and Shiloh had talked about being a child of missionary parents. So to keep the religious theme a little bit, you're almost a fitness pastor. You're almost a counselor. You're walking that journey with them. So I'd like to give you the opportunity because along with your transformation and your journey, there's got to be, and you could probably sit here for an hour straight. So I'm going to humbly ask you not to do an hour straight, but give us an example or two of some transformations you've seen in some of the clients you've worked with.
Oh, I'm so happy you asked that. I have one young lady that we're still working together, but we've been working together for like the past 3 months. And when she came to me to get her whole life together, she was where I was a couple of years ago, just completely knew what to do, but wasn't doing it, which is like most of us, you know? And when I had her peel back and I'm like, listen, let's just start with walking and let's build from there. And I had her write down but in pulling back her attention away from the computer, the phone, she realized that she had more time than she actually claimed to have had, you know, before starting this journey. And I think that that's representative of a lot of people.
Would you say that there's a lot of hurt or anguish that some people go through? I'm hiding it by eating more than I normally would, or so there's some other things. I mean, again, the therapist aspect, and we talked to Shiloh, and you're an educator.
Yes.
You're a motivator. You're also somebody that says, I can look as a therapist, I can look at your past, and we're not going to judge you for the past.
Right.
We're just going to change it to help your future. Right?
Exactly.
So many other different areas where you get to assist in people in getting them started on doing that.
Exactly, because what I help them to take a look at is something that they may not have taken a look at themselves because they're in it, and it's their daily habits. What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? What do you eat throughout the day? What do you do throughout the day? And by helping her, my client, to put those things in order in a way that she could do consistently, that's what helped. Because consistency is the key.
You're also a housekeeper, a cleaning lady. You help people clean up stuff.
Yeah.
I would generally sense that most people go to see the doctor. Doc, it hurts when I do this. And you get to help say, well, let's not do that anymore because it hurts. And well, let's find another thing that doesn't hurt that can help you get to where you need to be. Both you and Shiloh have that same quote unquote ability to be able to get people from the agony that they're in right now, the pain or distress, and put them in a position where, guess what? In a couple of months, you're smiling, you're happy, and you're doing things more efficiently, correct?
And one of the things that, which is why I love working at Level Minds and just our relationship, the way it has developed, I came to Shiloh at the beginning of my journey, and I sat down. I was one of those people that sat down on the couch because I was so burnt out, so stressed out, caught in a cycle of depression and couldn't pull myself out. And the first thing Shiloh asked me is, how are you sleeping? And I was like, wait, what? I was like, people sleep?
No one asked me that. I sleep just like everybody.
I was like, oh. And that was
But do you wake up exhausted, right? You do get the good kind of sleep that you need to have. And
that's
what I mean?
she was explaining to me.
Absolutely, right.
And that's
so,
where,
That's an epiphany for you then, right?
Yes. And that's one of the things that I share now with my clients that I work with is you have to get to the root. How is your sleep? How is your day-to-day function? And when she had me address that, and I was like, well, I can't work out if I'm tired and exhausted and brain fog, and I need to take care of that in order to get my whole wellness life. And that's what I mean about starting back at the basics.
So you are available for people mostly in the Gwinnett County area?
Yes.
Potentially willing to go a little, or we were going to concentrate on Gwinnett County for right now?
Yes, Gwinnett County, but expanding, and also really looking to build that online where people can really access the online and get the help that they need without, a physical presence. So in person, growing, and online definitely expanding.
All right. So I have been part of this show for a long time, and we always ask the last question of, hey, for those people who want to find out more information, this is the first time I'm ever going to say this statement for this particular need that we want to tell people. If people want to have a wonderful walk that would potentially change their lives for the better, how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can reach me online. They can reach me at poetic.fitness, which is the website. And they can also find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as Poetic Fitness.
Poetic Fitness. And so it's poetic.fitness.com.
Poetic.fitness.
Yep. So it's not .com. It's just poetic.fitness.
It's just poetic.fitness.
Oh, see, I made a mistake too. We've both made mistakes on websites today, Harper.
Don't forget the dash.
Don't. That's later. That's later.
I know.
So poetic.fitness.
No, seriously, thank you for sharing the exact and then phone numbers, and I'm sure as well on your website there's lots of teaching, lots of
I give
tips,
a lot
pointers.
of fitness tips, especially follow me on social media. I give a fitness tip every week, every Friday, every Monday. I give a writing prompt where you can really write out, because I realized in this healing journey that when you write stuff out, you're committing. That's a commitment. When you write things out, that's where the whole poetry comes in. So every Monday we give a writing prompt where you can dig deep into what you're feeling. And every Friday we give a fitness tip.
Wow. I love it, man. And one last reminder, August 10th, 2024, at Level Mind CBD, which is located at 3550 Lawrenceville Swanee Road, Suite 108, from 11 to 5, there is going to be a wellness fair. Level Minds is hosting a wellness fair. It starts with a low-impact workout at 11.
At 12.
At 12.
Yes.
Sorry.
The workout is at 12.
It's open at 11.
So it's open at 11.
Yes.
So we can come and I can have my
If you
coffee.
want to start sweating at 11,
Yeah.
you can.
Well, I start sweating earlier than that, but
I
that's
will be
another
sweating.
story for another show. So Shiloh Bigles from Level Mind CBD, Michelle Bertrand from Poetic Fitness. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
This was such a pleasure. Thank you.
And even though we have men-owned businesses, we're not allowed to come as a business. We certainly want to try to be there August 10th. Everyone is welcome. Have a good time. Learn more about that wellness fair and how we can get better in our lives. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Harper, before we get out of here, I want to remind everybody that Gwinnett Business Radio is brought to you by Regions Bank. We all know that keeping your company's financial future on track, I don't know why I'm yelling, means having the right resources to support your growth. Regions Commercial Banking offers you lending capabilities and strategic solutions tailored to your needs, and you'll work with a team of experienced bankers right here in Gwinnett. Now I'm whispering. Discover steps to take that can help move you closer to your business goals. Regions is here to help. To learn more, visit regions.com/commercial-banking. Don't forget the dash. Regions Bank.
Member
FDIC. Okay, Harper.
So you went fast, slow,
loud, soft. It might have
There's
been in honor of. Well, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to get political at all. So yeah.
Speaking of where Mike is,
where is Mike?
Mike is not even in
Where
this country.
in the world is Mike Salmon?
He's in Paris, France.
He's in Paris for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And for all those listeners
who want to listen to him,
yes, they can't.
That's right.
Because he's on the Olympic Channel, which is the official channel of the Olympics, which is used in countries that don't pay for their own rights to broadcast the Olympics. And here in America, that is Peacock NBC. So
yeah. So if you don't want to hear Mike,
if you don't want to hear Mike,
listen to
then
him
stay in America and you won't listen to him. But maybe we can get him on the show to talk about the Olympic Channel.
He won't do it.
He won't.
talk
He
to
will
us.
never. So for those listeners who want to hear Mike interviewed on the show,
rather don't want to hear Mike.
Yeah,
just keep on doing what you're doing. You won't hear him.
The one thing Mike is not here to do is to stop us. And so Harper, you and I spoke and well, he's away, will we just keep going and keep going? We could try to talk so long that Michelle and Shiloh get up and leave.
They already have.
They already
left the
No,
building.
see, they're
Elvis
laughing.
has
You
left
can
the
hear
building,
them.
and so
Dan
Shiloh and
is not mad. Dan is, he's just like,
just
hey,
looking at his wrist.
as long as
going,
Mike doesn't
I don't
fire
even wear
me.
a watch, and I'm looking at these
Dan,
guys.
do you want to come on the air and say anything since Mike's not here? Because normally, he won't let you talk.
Yeah. Well, I agree. You guys just keep going. We can keep this rolling. I don't know if anyone has stuff they got to do.
Welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio.
We'll do
Uncut.
a 3 hour. Yeah, exactly.
So this is like unplugged, uncut. Yeah. By the way, Dan, well done doing your voice at the opening. Harper and I both thought it was going to be Mike. Was your logic, Harper, that because Mike isn't here, Dan will do Mike's voice? That's what I thought.
Yeah, but I said Amanda. I thought he was going to go back and do Amanda. He did Amanda last
I thought
week.
you said Mike. I'm sorry. I picked Mike.
I know. We were both wrong.
We were both wrong. Again.
Yeah, y'all.
How is that possible?
I'm in your head.
So now
We haven't
you're
been able
on a
to
streak.
stump- we
Dan
haven't
is on a
stumped him
streak.
yet,
Yeah.
you know
Okay. For those listeners, by the way, the jackpot is now up to $27 if you pick whose voice brings in the show.
It was $26.50.
It was
just
$26.50.
before? Yeah.
It's now up to $27.
All right. The ladies here are looking at us like
They are looking.
We
a
have
little
no idea
strange.
what we're talking about.
I think this is a good point to cut it off. I'm imagining Mike standing behind Dan.
Before
with
you
his-
cut
with
it
his
off,
gun.
I'm going to jump back in.
Oh, Shiloh has something to say. I love it.
Since
Bring
it's
it.
okay to
Reason
still
and
talk.
Bring it. Go for it, Shiloh.
I just want to say thank you guys. I know you warned us ahead of time that you weren't a typical business talk radio, but for me, and I'm sure Michelle too, this was fantastic. We love the, not just the comedy aspect of it, but the real, and we're turning it into, and yes, there's funny things. Yes, there's serious things, but this was awesome. And it was super, super easy to talk to. This was literally a conversation, not an interview and an interrogation.
I'd like to
it was
apologize.
very nicely
We didn't do
done.
our job.
Yes.
I would like
talk
to.
of IBIDA and other tax ramifications.
I would like to apologize to all of our listeners because the $27.50 or the $28 jackpot is now going to Michelle and Charlotte for those kind words that they gave us at the end.
No, it was
I'll give it to you in
fantastic.
Bitcoin, but yeah. Anyway,
Well, thank you for that.
yeah. Thank you for the
that's-
kind
yeah.
words. That's so nice.
Part of what we do is just enjoy having people share what they enjoy,
Right,
and their
exactly.
passion is for business.
You know,
and
Harper, yet
so
again,
easy.
if we could ever find guests who are passionate about what they do, knowledgeable about what they do, kind of
still
know their
looking.
subjects, one of these
where
days.
are they? Where
one
are
of these
all these
days.
people?
I don't know. Where
They're probably working. Is what
They're probably
doing.
on the Olympic channel with Mike, but we can't hear them. So that's the issue. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for the kind words. Okay. So for Shiloh and Michelle, and for Dan, and for my trusty co-host Harper LaBelle, this is Steve and Julian saying it. Now go back to work, get stuff done, but remember to keep your life in balance. And our two guests can help you with that. So for all of us, we will catch you next time, except for Mike because he's still in Paris on Gwinnett Business Radio.